Who is the man who would risk his life for his brother, man?
Shut up. Damn right.
Damn right.
It's like, I would put on a leather jacket, but it's too hot.
Oh, it's so hot.
It's too hot for a leather jacket.
Yeah, it's ridiculously hot. I was gonna wear a shirt with just the she, you know, that one.
Yeah.
But even like the thing on it, I was like, this is gonna get fucked up in the heat.
Yeah, I'm on brand. I've got a barefoot Contessa shirt.
I think it's perfectly on brand for this.
I think so, actually.
I think it's perfect.
White woman that can cook? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's fine. She learned it from somewhere.
Somewhere. Let's see. Michelle Gordon. Shut up, JB. I always know it's working. Always nervous about this. This is fun.
Oh. This is something.
This is absolutely fantastic.
This is something for sure.
Let's see. Funny enough, like, obviously the plots are whatever, but they're not the same plot.
No, they're not. But they are.
Exactly.
I mean, it's the same thing. It doesn't have to be the same in order to be the same.
Exactly. Let's see. I think I can collapse them in like this.
Damn right.
Damn right. The music, I mean.
Bad mother. And you know what? It's the same music.
Yeah.
You don't need more. I would love, you know, when they have that discussion of like what would your entrance music be?
Yeah.
That'd be up there.
That's up there, yeah, the Shaft intro.
Like if you just have the every time I walked in a room, like I'd be like, that's perfect.
Yep.
And then like the build, of like I go room to room. That'd be great. That or like Darth Vader's theme.
That's a good one. Also, even you know, one of the blaxploitation films we've done before, Superfly, like that, the Pusher Man.
You pushing, man. Yeah, that's good.
But I think for like a personal intro song, Shaft is like
Shaft
better.
is great. But no, just like the intro. I don't even need the mute. I don't even need the chorus. Just the. Actually, you know what? Like even in like the Shaft 2000, when it's like in the showing all the logos, or it's the.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm kind of into it. All right, let's go.
What's fucking great about Shaft 2000, like, I was reading some random trivia, and there's like, I guess let's call it a sex scene, but like in the intro, there's like implied sex in the intro.
And he
like,
gets out the gun.
And they're like, yeah, Samuel L. Jackson wasn't available for this. So they use a
I hope
like,
not.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I hope not. I don't want to see Samuel L. Jackson fucking anything.
I really don't.
It's like, even at the time of this movie, like in Shaft, he was 47 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I don't need to see any 47-year-old fuck.
You really don't. Really don't.
Yeah, I know.
Now, fuck shit up. That's different.
That's a different story. That's fine. I can watch Man on Fire all day. I don't need to see him lay pipe, though.
Greasy bear.
Yeah.
But you know he did.
But I don't need to see it.
Exactly.
You know, I take solace in the fact of knowing that he did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like Tom Brady fucking. I know he does, but I don't care.
Yeah. Let's see. How would I intro this?
I want to hear how you church this one up.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you said church it up, because now I can actually lean into it. Yeah. Okay. Bad it. Nice. A badass police detective on a mission to kick some ass. He takes justice into his own hands and won't be stopped by anything or any man. All this can only mean one thing. We're watching Shaft, and Shaft.
Shaft!
Shut your mouth on this episode of Retro vs. Remake.
Retro vs. Remake! Welcome to Retroverse Remake.
Hell yeah. What a fucking power fantasy.
I know. I wish we could pay for the rights for the song.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to find like generic funk song and just like interlace it.
Yeah, and just that'd be good. I'm fine with that. It's like Shaft, but with like a Y.
Yeah.
Shift.
You know, it's like normally I wouldn't struggle with an intro like that, but because each movie has its own thing, because like I can't be like a police detective fighting the mob, and it's like, well, not a police detective, a private detective. At some points, he's a police detective.
Yeah.
Fighting the mob, fighting racist white guy, and kind of like not the mob, but like organized criminals again.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's so funny. Like Christian Bale is the outlier in this because he's not an organized criminal. He's just a dick.
He's just a dickhead for no reason.
A rich dickhead.
A rich dickhead who gets involved in organized crime.
That's true.
But he's not a part of that in any stretch. He looks down upon them because Christian Bale in this movie extremely racist.
Completely racist.
Completely racist. He makes Dickie from fucking The Fighter look like Martin Luther King.
He really does. Sorry you're not smoking up Indo.
This is like, you know, I saw this after I saw American Psycho.
Okay.
And even after I saw American Psycho, like, this guy's the most evil guy I've ever seen in my life. Like, and meanwhile, American Psycho, when he's like taking a chainsaw and dropping it on bitches.
Well, Bateman's like, for no reason, I guess it's just like the actual charisma of Christian Bale is weirdly likable.
Yeah.
For a fucking psychopath. He's like kind of, like, you know how incels kind of miss the message of movies like that?
Yes.
Like they look at him like, oh man, he's a badass. I want to be like Patrick Bateman. It's like, well, you really want to?
It's like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
That's not what that movie's about, really.
Exactly.
This guy's a liar.
Yeah.
And except in this movie, like, even though he's charismatic and he's confident, he
just sucks.
You fucking hate him.
Yeah,
in this movie. You really do.
He's a perfect foil.
Yeah.
Even like, because like when you think of villains and like, usually you're thinking like something menacing, especially when you're dealing with Shaft.
Yeah.
Like this hyper masculine, like take no prisoners, badass dude, and then like you kind of have like a smarmy dick who kind of stumbles his way into like fucking with the mob, and it's kind of like feckless the entire time.
And not that, but like, he is. I was thinking about, like, when I was watching it again, and I was trying to think, does he have any redeeming qualities?
No.
None.
No.
Not, like, there's not one.
No.
Like, he's
got,
a
like,
good-looking dude.
Decent clothes.
Yeah, he's got decent clothes. He could dress kind of well, not my cup of tea.
Exactly.
I would never be wearing some of those sweaters.
Exactly.
And also, like, know where you're going. Like, you're going to see this guy Joe Peoples, and you're dressing like, what are you doing?
Joe Peoples?
You know, you're getting robbed, man.
Yeah.
You're getting robbed in a second.
Oh,
maybe
man.
not in 2000.
And that is kind of the fun part with him. You know, we'll get into it. All right. Let's frame this up. So, oftentimes we talk about, especially when I do blaxploitation films, I try my damnedest to try to inform the audience a little bit about like the genre, how it came to be, and stuff like that. And like we talked about it a little bit when we did Superfly, but
Superfly.
Quick re-education before we get into like the breakdowns of the films. Blaxploitation is an ethnic, all right, that feels weird, subgenre of the exploitation film that emerged in the United States during the 1970s. You know, you're taking two different words, black and exploitation, putting them together.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that makes so much sense now.
But like for a genre of film, it had kind of like a fairly quick run. I know last episode we discussed The Last Dragon, how maybe it extended that. But basically from like 1970 to 1976, that little 6-year period was like the heyday of blaxploitation. The good side of it is you have these like, for lack of a better word, these are black superheroes.
Yeah.
You know, even though they're oftentimes really just ordinary people. It's like, I'm a pimp, a prostitute, a private detective, or whatever. Whatever you are, the ability to go up against basically racist white people, the man, and overcome and just be able to do shit that like black people really couldn't do.
Racist white people's a little redundant.
No, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Literally, like in all of these movies, it's like, wow, not one.
Yeah.
Maybe fucking Cher's father from Clueless, but even that.
True.
Yeah, like he's pretty no.
Yeah. And it's just like it's interesting because like a lot of times with blaxploitation there's a controversy of the depictions, like we talk about pimps and prostitutes and shit like that, but at the same time there's like this like, which of course it's kind of cartoons, but like this masculinity thing, and like black people didn't get a chance to see themselves like that.
Yes.
Oftentimes these movies, things that are even today are kind of outside the norm, like kicking a cop's ass.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
That's great.
Blaxploitation. It's like,
I know, it's pretty great.
When the system's beating you down to be able to fight back.
There's certain movies like when that happens, like it's just so out of the norm that it's just, I think it's hilarious to see.
Yeah.
Like like when you watch The Warriors or something like that, and you see like the cops trying to stop them, there's not a hesitation. Like it's not like this guy's a fucking cop. It's like kick the shit out of that guy.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like it doesn't matter that he's a cop. Like this guy's in my way. It doesn't. It's great.
And it's great. Like really, the only purpose of the police in films like this are really just to kind of be in the way. They're usually like
that's right.
They're usually completely ineffective.
Completely completely out of touch.
Yep.
Totally inept.
Hey, buddy, what are you doing over there?
Hey, what are you doing? Hey, Shaft, where are you going?
Go to get laid.
Yeah, you hunky motherfucker.
Yeah, hunky motherfucker.
Yeah. And like what's often like great about that is there's usually some kind of plot device, Deus Ex Machina, whatever, so that like the police are not going to like take out our main character. Like
no,
he's got everything figured out why he was able to do the most illegal shit in the world.
Completely illegal. Everything is
can't do anything about it.
Yeah, which it's like it's well, I was just thinking about white exploitation movies. I was like, I'm thinking, how long did those last? I don't know. How long was Leave It to Beaver on the air? The Birth of a Nation. Yeah, Happy Days. It was more TV. I don't know. But the 70s, man, you gotta love the 70s of just like, we're gonna just try something.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
We're all trying. Like, the days of fucking Rebel Without a Cause are over. We're trying something.
And what's like great about this genre too is like kind of the birth of it is we were talking about Sweetback's Badass Song, which was a film released in 1971, a little bit before Shaft. It was directed by Marvin Van Peebles, the father of
Mario Van Peebles.
That's right.
Star of Solo.
Not the Han Solo story.
Not the Han Solo story. Solo. Which, this is just, I know we're on a highway here. We're just stopping off to get gas for a second.
No problem.
It's oh my God. One of the best of a time of previews of summer blockbusters.
Yep.
They have, I will never forget the summer of 1996 when Independence Day came out, The Rock came out, Eraser came out, Twister came out, Mission Impossible came out, and then I remember this fucking commercial came on. It was like, this summer, it rocked you, and it showed like Alcatraz shaking, and it was like, it alienated you, which is not the term alienated.
Right.
It's like, and then the beam shot down, exploded. It's like, it even erased you. It's like, well, now prepare to go solo. It was like, fucking Mario Van Peebles is Solo.
This summer, you've been twisted, rocked, and alienated. Now, are you ready for something more?
When he's like fucking doing karate and shit.
If
we could figure out a way, I think we could do this on our, just out of sheer the name alone. Just do Solo, the Mario Van Peebles movie, and Solo, a Star Wars story.
Or even Free Solo. I don't know. We'll make it
Free
work.
Solo? We can do all three. I don't give a fuck. If we could talk about Solo, the Mario Van Peebles vehicle, that I guarantee, I did no research on this. I know he wrote it and directed it. I know he did.
There's got to be a way to do some kind of adaptation.
And he was like, have you seen New Jack City? Give me the money.
Love it.
Anyway, Melvin Van Peebles.
Yeah, like at a time where Hollywood was in like a bit of a lull, when Sweetback's Badass Song came out, it made crazy money for the time on a nothing budget. They're like, I think we're onto something, and they're black exploitation. And they just pumped out these barely scripts,
but barely. It's almost like in that there's some things like some movies that in that time frame. You didn't need a fucking script.
No, you didn't.
Like, you look at Smokey and the Bandit. You tell me what the plot of that movie was.
Right. That's a good point.
It's Burt Reynolds looking cool, driving a car. Why? To get Coors to fucking Atlanta. That's the movie.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then, how long is it? Hour 45? Pretty girl sitting behind me, truck behind me, looking out for Smokey.
Yeah, it's...
Yo, that's white exploitation, right? That's a white exploitation. Burt Reynolds
is white exploitation.
Yes. Oh my God. He didn't.
That's a great point. Like
I never thought of it.
Like the intro of Longest Yard when he's just like, I just pounded some beers.
Just beat the shit out of that woman.
Cop chase. Yeah.
Smack her. Get the fuck out of my face. You guys did that on here, right?
Yeah. But there's still a way to do it again, by the way, because there's that soccer movie.
Oh yes, Mean Machine.
Yeah. So it's possible to come back.
Yes, but we'll get back to it. Shaft. Let's get to Shaft.
So I mean,
but what I mean is that you don't necessarily have to have a plot for some of these things because they made money.
Yeah.
Like some of these budgets were like $500,000, which in 1972 was a hell of a lot of money.
Decent money.
Yeah, that's a good money. But they would make $4 million. You're like, what? You made 8 times what your budget was? Right. Okay, and we'll make 2 more. Shaft goes to Africa. Why not?
Yeah. And I mean, like, you know, we still have the reverberations of the time because obviously what we're talking about, Shaft, 1971, 2000, 2019. Let's do it again. Like, these are iconic characters, and I think one of the things that's also a staple of the genre is the music. Like, the movies and like black people doing karate and stuff like that, or shooting people, that's whatever. But then all of the music, well, not all of the music, but like especially in the early days, a lot of the music was fantastic.
Oh, it's it's amazing.
Isaac Hayes in this case, shit. Why am I drawing a blank on the Pusher Man singer?
Blank. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, like while I'm thinking of that,
but they had
Curtis Mayfield.
That's it. Yeah.
Curtis Mayfield. In one of the films, I can't remember which one offhand, but
Baker Mayfield. Anyway.
Well, one of them offhand. Yeah, Baker Mayfield. Whitesploitation. And he played for the Browns. Go figure that out.
Oh, the Jim Browns? No.
And one of the films, I can't remember which one, but like was like the intro to Earth, Wind and Fire. Like that was like their first song was like on like some.
Oh wow! That I did not know that.
Yeah.
I would have thought it would have been on like I don't know cocaine.
Yeah.
There was these. Before we started press record on this podcast, we were discussing how Shaft was a novel.
Yeah.
And just to tie that in, first of all, my mind is fucking blown, and I will be reading that novel. No joke. Like one day I will be reading fucking Marcus Aurelius one day, like Meditations. And then the next day, I will be reading Shaft. We're going to go both ends of the spectrum here. And then, why not? We're going to round it up. Cobra, the novel. Why not? But up until this very moment, I would have like, if you told me that they wrote the song to Shaft, the theme music to Shaft, first, and then based the movie around it, I would have believed you.
Yeah, I mean...
I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense.
It really would have made sense. Even like it wasn't. That's not like too far off. Obviously, there was source material, but like the song when the director, who we'll talk about, was telling Isaac Hayes like how to do it is like, I wanted to kind of like be in your face. I wanted to feel like because in this genre a lot of times you go from action to action to action. So that's where like that drum beat, that signature he uses, it's supposed to kind of just be on your fucking ass, like just on.
Like it sounds like footsteps, almost like you're chasing someone.
Here he comes.
Yeah, here he comes.
And of course, like you said, like intro music. That's basically what he said. Like, make this guy look like a badass. He's like, all right, coming right up. One of the greatest songs you've ever heard.
And literally, Isaac Hayes. How many other songs does Isaac Hayes have?
He's got a lot, but I don't know.
Does he really? I don't know.
Not to me.
I don't know if he made more of a career than off of Shaft. I think he's the most successful person from Shaft. That's correct.
I would say so. Yeah.
Which, what's your? I guess we can get into this right now. What's your first experience with Shaft?
Oh man, Shaft, like,
Because mine, I guarantee, is so much different.
I bet it was. You know,
because your dad was like prime age for Shaft.
my dad was prime age.
He
for
probably
Shaft.
was what, like
What,
15?
1991? Something like that. Yeah.
Like 15 when Shaft came out, maybe.
Yeah, because 60. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like the impressionable young black dude, just like sitting in the movie theater, like, yo, I could be fucking these girls.
Yep. You know, we were talking about this a little bit before we were recording, but like, yeah, my dad. You gotta think, like you said, coming up in a time where these films were popular, taking like some, you know, again, not complete stereotype, but like taking some masculine cues from these characters,
Of course,
who were larger than life.
Of
Like,
course,
Richard Roundtree in this movie is like that dude. I wouldn't
badass.
be surprised if like every black guy with a mustache after 1971 was like, "Yep, give me the Roundtree."
Yeah, give me the Roundtree.
You know, you had that, and then the follow up with, like we mentioned, again off mic, but like in 2000 to have Samuel L. Jackson, who is his own sort of like, especially at the time, like sex symbol in the black community.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Samuel L. Jackson is just like a badass, like who, by the way, obviously takes cues from these guys.
Of course, 100%.
You know, like
100%.
It's just so funny to take these like fictional portrayals, have people like embrace them, you know, because like they're finally seeing themselves on the big screen, turning that into its own culture, spinning that back out, and like
Better.
yeah,
It's like we were talking about with Les Mis. It's like it could be good. Like the character, it's like, oh, you have all the archetypes that could be good, but you're no one's experienced enough to make this good. But now here comes Samuel L. Jackson. You're like, oh, that's it.
But I mean, just
like, oh, that's why you're a fucking movie star.
especially at the time, dude, like afros, like black power fists, you know,
I do
leather jackets.
I would be rocking the afro all day. All
Dang,
day. I would rock the Irish fro, but it doesn't. It's not even close to cool.
It's just such a fucking cool time.
Yeah, and it really is.
No,
And
racial overtone, but what?
yeah,
That's always gonna be it.
Yeah, in New York, I mean, they were there, but they're still. No, they're not really there
Yeah.
like that anymore.
Well, you know, even the fact that the novel and the movies take place in New York, like especially Harlem, is heavily featured. Like,
yes,
like a type of black mecca. You know.
yeah. Thanks, Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Fucking as soon as he moved in, he changed that
Yeah,
shit.
it all changed.
It did. It really did.
But yeah, what's funny is like the novel, which was written by Ernest Tidyman, was written in 1970. So
Okay, so they read this. We're like, we're doing this.
Yep. Boom.
We're pumping this out.
Turned it right out.
This is like fucking Jaws. Like when you first read Jaws, you're like, this is a movie.
We're done.
Yeah.
So that's pretty dope.
Oh.
Oh yeah, but I guess first experience. So along those lines, obviously my dad like got all that shit, even like Dolomite and stuff like that. He would quote stuff from like he would literally quote stuff from these movies. Like,
Yeah.
Like way down in the jungle deep, badass line, and like it was a whole cultural event. So over time, I took some cues from him in terms of like older movies like that. Did some of my own research, like we were talking about blaxploitation. Embraced it as more of like a how do you put it, like almost like a study, like a research type deal.
Okay.
But like still, like as I was watching movies, like I don't care if you're a black guy at any point in time, like watching these, you can feel a certain type of way.
Oh, I'm sure.
I was like,
no matter what.
Doing
You're
karate
like,
kicks and
yeah.
benches.
Oh,
like,
I could gather that easily.
And then what? When Shaft came out, what was that 2000?
2000. Yeah.
So I was what 12 or something like that. I guarantee I saw it, definitely not in theaters, obviously.
Oh, I definitely saw it in theaters.
Yeah,
100% saw it in theaters.
And then 2019, I didn't like.
I still haven't seen it.
That's okay. I'll do that.
You can fill me in. Yeah.
It won't be too long.
Yeah, I mean, but my experience is so different. Not only like that my parents are super black.
Right, yeah, of
but,
course.
yeah, super black.
The blackest.
But the blackest. But no, my parents are like all from the dirt McGirt of New York. So like when it gets certain things, I can tell that they just like tried to forget.
Yeah.
Like that they were like, yeah, we don't need to be watching this. But no, I guess Shaft, obviously for the time, never like appealed to them. Why would it appeal to them?
I get
but because it's not that they're, you know, it's just I don't know. It's just like
it's not the audience for
yeah,
it,
it's
you know?
not.
It's like,
they are clearly not the audience. But
Yeah.
also by the time that came out, I guess they were like 17, 18, whatever. But but it's more like the New York thing that they were like, yeah. So I kind of didn't know. I knew the song way before I saw Shaft.
Yeah,
way before.
I think that's definitely true.
And I think like they used to do on one of the radio stations in New York, Kiss FM.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what, but they used to have a commercial that with Isaac Hayes, who was the DJ in the morning, and he'd be like, "You call up Kiss FM, and I will wish you a happy birthday to you. Wow. Happy birthday to you." And he used to do that, and then they would have. So at first I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And like, "Who's Isaac Hayes?" And then they're like, "You don't know who Shaft is?" And I was like, "No, I don't know who Shaft is. Whose fault is that, Mom?"
Yeah, right.
But I could see of being a certain age, of like being. Like how little representation you had on screen. What you had, like fucking Sidney Poitier.
Right.
That's it.
That was it.
That was basically it. And or Harry Belafonte.
Yeah, and Sidney never really popped off in this space. Although he had some.
I don't know. In the heat of the night.
I was gonna say
dude,
that.
fucking coming in there like, call me Mr. Tibbs. Although he was repping Philly. I'm like, I don't know. Have you ever been to Philly? It's pretty racist. But. Yeah, I could see that you didn't have like the appeal, but I was never really exposed to it like that. Yeah. And then when I got older, I was like, oh. But I could see, like, if I were your father, I'd be like, guess what you're watching tonight? Like the same way I'd be watching The Wire with my son. It's like, you're 10 today, guess what you're doing? Yeah, you're learning all about Avon Barksdale.
Yeah, I guarantee it's happening. Because, like, if Shaft was, like, on TV, you'd be like,
I'm not watching this. Yeah, the whole thing. This is Shaft, especially the original one, although... I for different reasons, it's also Shaft 2000. Yeah. That I'd watch them if they were just on. Like, it's definitely rewatchable. So easy.
Another thing that, like, this is kind of separate but related, that sort of informed my take on this genre as well, is this is an out there statement, but it actually makes sense. Dexter's Laboratory, the cartoon from, like, the 90s, has a recurring character, Action Hank, who is basically...
That's what it's supposed to be?
He's basically a blaxploitation character. And it's Dexter's favorite cartoon.
Sir, we're ready for him. Here he comes!
Action Hank!
Get him!
And just like, this guy comes in, damn, Mr. Scientist, bro, and like, he throws kicks, he wears like these, he's always, he's got a fro, he's got a tank top, he's got like, what would be camo pants, but they're leopard.
Okay.
And he just like kicks ass, gets the girl, and like this little white kid is just like, yeah, Action Hank. And so, I get it. He's a superhero. You know?
That's amazing.
It's dope. It's a great.
That's great. Like they had, but I mean, it goes like you said, the impact of it, like to the point. Fucking Django Unchained is supposed to be a prequel to Shaft.
Right.
That's supposed to be his grandfather, and grandmother.
Yeah. I mean,
like, and then you watch it, you're like, oh. I get it. Like, totally get it. Because, I mean, her name is Von Shaft.
Right. And, I mean, that's another thing, too, that, like...
They don't come out and tell you, but,
yeah. But that's another thing, too. Like, Tarantino,
no one loves that
movie. My God. He loves blaxploitation more than fucking black people. It's incredible. But, yeah, like, even that means that it's influencing film today.
Yeah.
You know?
And it really gives... I think it also influenced just looking at like I'd make the argument too of the other way of that, looking at like the way Shaft and 71 is shot.
Right. You
tell me that Martin Scorsese didn't see that movie when you watch Mean Street.
True.
Like you could see, or Taxi Driver.
True.
That you see like, you're like, oh man, like it's like gritty. Yeah. It's so gritty the way they do it, like Panic in Needle Park.
Like that.
Like.
Yeah, like Taxi Driver. The atmosphere of the movie.
Yes.
Because...
You're in New York.
Yeah.
Like, New York's a character in that movie.
Yes. Because, like, Bickle is... I don't want to say it. There's not really narration. Like, unreliable narrator in the sense of, like, what's this guy's deal?
Yeah.
You know? So that, like, everything that's happening, this city is a waste. I hope the rain comes in.
Yeah, he's the deranged version of Shaft.
Yes.
Like, he's not... affiliated with any kind of law enforcement whatsoever.
And like, even the scene, this is Scorsese, I think, when he's talking about the Magnum in the car, he's like, you know, like just that whole, like you said, that grit and dirt, the fact that it's basically about child prostitute, like it's a whole thing, man.
That's the fucking, like, that's, like when he's walking, first of all, that we'll just discuss it. I figure we could just discuss it right now.
Sure.
The 71 Shaft
Uh-huh.
might have one of the best intros I've ever seen to a movie. It is so good.
Yeah.
Like when him just coming out of the subway steps,
Yep.
and you could tell that like they're not blocking anything off. This
Yep.
guy's just there,
Just walking.
like he's just walking. And then the car almost hits him, and he's like, "Hey!"
Get out of the way!
And like with the like, oh man, it's so good.
And what's crazy, like I can't believe I'm talking about this, the limp of the song. You're just getting that bass line, that beat
the
before
build.
the even fucking lyrics come in. And like, who is the man?
Who is the man?
Who looks out for his brother, man?
The building of the song is so good, but it's also building like him walking down the street, just doing, and he's so. Like for people that don't remember like a dangerous New York,
Yeah.
it
that
really like is a time capsule.
That's the other thing too, like how unaffected he is by the danger
At
of New York,
all.
because like danger.
Yeah, I don't give.
Try
I'm a
me.
cop.
Go
Yeah, I'm a
ahead, try
cop.
me.
God, try me. Go ahead.
You know?
I'm the danger.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like when you go on when you. It's like when I was a kid, like I remember New York like that. Like it was dirty. It wasn't until like the '90s that shit started cleaning up. But like when he's walking around, and when the guy says like tries to sell him a watch or whatever, and he's
Yeah.
like, "I'm a cop," and he's like,
Right.
"Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Like, and
So good.
it's
Oh,
so
man.
good.
All right, we'll get the pleasantries out of the way because I want to get into this shit. The Shaft 1971 film was directed by Gordon Parks. The writers were Ernest Tidyman and John F. Black. Starring Richard Roundtree, Moses Gunn, and Charles Siafi. Cool. That was 1971. 2000. Directed by John Singleton, who makes sense.
Yep.
Written by Ernest Tidyman, of course, going back to the original novel. John Singleton and Shane Salerno. Starring Samuel L. Jackson, Vanessa Williams, and Christian Bale. And
There's a lot of people in this movie.
And Lawrence Taylor.
And Lawrence Taylor,
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright, and Toni Collette.
Yep.
And,
Toni Collette.
what's
Richard
that dude's
Roundtree.
name? Dan Hedaya.
Yeah, he's
Richard Roundtree. Yeah, that's the dude though. That's
Busta
Cher's
Rhymes.
father. Busta Rhymes.
How could I forget?
Who's great in this
He
movie.
is really good.
He's great. With his
Rasan.
door when they go to his apartment and they're hanging out, he's like, oh, he goes to with the beads.
So good.
It's so good.
So good. And just throw it in there because like we'll reference this at some point and talk about it a little bit. But the 2019 film was directed by Tim Story, written by, of course, Ernest Tidyman again, Kenya Barris, Alex Barnaw, starring Samuel L. Jackson, Jesse T. Usher, Richard Roundtree. Again, you've got Regina Hall in this movie, and that's pretty much all we need to talk. Oh, and Method Man makes an appearance.
Oh, Method Man? Okay.
Yeah, he's in it for like half a second.
See, I did not know.
It's pretty cool. But yeah, so from a synopsis standpoint, you've got John Shaft, who is a private detective at some points in some movies. He was actually a police officer at some point. The law is just really not working for him. They just move too slow.
They're moving too slow. They're not doing what he needs to get done.
So he's a private detective. So in some ways, he's got some legal backing, especially when it comes to carrying a firearm, but really not. He's basically a vigilante.
He is 100%.
In each movie, we deal with organized crime in some capacity. In 1971, a Harlem mob boss hires Shaft to rescue his kidnapped daughter from the white mob. And, Shaft has to figure things out, while also staying on the right side of the law because...
Which he's already on the wrong side.
He is probably throwing that guy out that window.
Yeah.
And other things that he's probably very guilty of, but will never get called for because he's John Shaft.
Because he's John Shaft.
In 2000, similar thing, like racist prick played by Christian Bale does basically a hate crime
to Mekhi Phifer.
to Mekhi Phifer.
Not basically.
No, he does a hate
It's
crime.
100% a hate crime. Like he does it because premeditated. Like I'm making fun of this black guy for being black. Then he answers back, calls me a racist, so I beat him to death with a pole from a rope, like a pole from a velvet rope.
Yeah, velvet rope. Yeah. That racist prick at some point, because he knows Shaft is on his ass, hires organized criminals, and they're also trying to influence a witness of his crime, and Shaft is trying to bring him to justice. The way that John Shaft would.
Yes.
2019 actually sort of interesting in the sense that if we go back in time, John Shaft, in his early days, he's dating Regina Hall's character in the film. He has a child with Regina Hall, and because he's Shaft and danger follows him, she gets scared, moves away with her son. And basically Shaft is no longer his life. He grows up without Shaft as his father. They reconnect because a friend of his son, who this is so stupid, works for the FBI. A friend of his son dies for like kind of sketchy reasons. While trying to research it, he realizes that the law doesn't work for him either. Hires John Shaft, like everyone else does, even though
his son has to hire him.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like there's contention because his son is like more or less like, you're a deadbeat dad. He's not really, but
he can.
Yeah,
On
practice,
paper, he is.
Yes, on paper, he certainly is. That leads him through all kinds of crazy conspiracies that actually the FBI would probably be involved in. Organized crime as well, because we learned that part of the reason Shaft wasn't a father to his son was because of an organized criminal that he's trying to get revenge on, and the father and son learn how to work together, you know, the new fucking FBI way, and then the old Shaft way, and we kind of blend them all. Richard Roundtree shows up again,
Of course.
with a gang of guns, and you know, they solve shit the way Shaft would, because all three of them are Shaft.
Okay.
3 shafts are better than 1 shaft. 2 shafts are better than 1 shaft. 1 shaft, actually, you only needed 1 shaft.
What about 2,000 of them?
2,000 shafts.
Shaft 2,000.
So you got 3 tigers, 2 silverbacks, and 2,000 shafts.
No, 2,000 shafts.
2,000 shafts.
Give me 1,000 shafts.
But, you know, we'll talk about it a little bit. But actually, I thought that some elements of the going between the generations, the father, son, doing...
What's it, Richard Roundtree, his uncle?
Yeah, well, he says uncle, but he's basically his father.
Okay.
I think it was one of those, like, kind of like, this is like...
Richard Roundtree, who was, I don't know, what, 11 when Samuel Jackson was born?
Yeah. Like, kind of inside baseball, not just the black community, but, like, there's other folks that do this, but, like, sometimes people that are called your uncle are not your uncle.
Yeah, okay.
They might be your fucking dad. So, yeah, but those are the synopses. Screw that. Let's get into the real shit. So, in each film, we have Shaft. Let's say Richard Roundtree as our original.
Why don't you stop playing with yourself, Willie? You ain't gonna do shit.
Shaft's his name. Shaft's his game.
Samuel L. Jackson as our 2000 Shaft.
April Fool, motherfucker.
Samuel L. Jackson again in 2019, but we'll also, I guess, technically credit Jesse T. Usher, who plays J.J. Shaft.
Who's asking?
John Shaft Jr., your son.
My son? Junior?
Yeah.
So Shaft Jr., basically.
JJ.
I'm not going to lie to you, and maybe this is too early to have this conversation. Richard Roundtree is still the best Shaft.
Yeah. I was trying to think, like, with this, if you were going to make, like, the original Shaft, if you were going to make that today, who would
I cast?
Yeah.
Today. Damn.
That dude, you know who I would say? That dude, Lakeith.
Oh, Stanfield?
Yeah.
Yeah, he could do it.
I think he could do it.
Yeah, because, like, you could technically maybe do, like, a Boyega as well. Like
Maybe. I was thinking about that, too. But you know what, man? I don't... Nah. I'm against the Brits doing this one.
Yeah,
This,
I agree. No,
we
we need to get this in-house.
Yeah. Unless it's Idris Elba. That's the only one I would accept.
I think, like, it's almost like the James Bond thing. Like, he kind of aged out of it at this point.
maybe.
But, like, he could also still...
I mean, Samuel Jackson's doing
I know,
it.
he's still Shaft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would work. I'm trying to think of any other black actors. You know, like...
Anthony Mackie, maybe?
Mackie could...
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, he could do it. You know what's crazy? Like, I know I mentioned Method Man was in the Shaft movie. Like, Meth could do it.
Yeah.
Meth could do it.
Hell yeah, Meth could do it.
It'd be its own thing, but, like, the problem with, like, Meth is, like, you're basically just doing Samuel L. Jackson again. But
Yeah. You know what? It gets to a point though of like doing some of the action stuff that I don't know if I'll believe it.
Yeah.
Like there are certain people like, oh, I was kind of thinking the same way of like, oh, like Michael B. Jordan is like.
Oh yeah. See,
I was thinking that, but he's too big.
John. Yeah.
Like I mean, like jacked.
I was
like
gonna
he's
say
too jacked.
He's too jacked. I mean, this is not to get like weird racial with it, but like also he's kind of a little too light skinned for Shaft. Jonathan Major, same thing. He's too big to be Shaft because like Shaft, you want him to be like tough, but you don't need him to be
agile,
like, growling.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, originally in 2000, it was going to be Don Cheadle.
I can see that in 2000. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, Don Cheadle could do anything.
Yeah. I think he'd have to sell a little bit, but like he would sell it. It's Don Cheadle.
No, if he took Don Cheadle in Devil in a Blue Dress and cranked it back 15%, he could be Shaft.
Yeah.
No problem.
For sure. Because honestly, as long as you can fill out the jacket.
That's right.
You can wear the leather jacket, which I know Don Cheadle can wear a fucking leather jacket.
Yes, he can.
So, yeah, I don't know. But you're right. Lakeith Stanfield would probably be your best case at this point. I can't really...
That's the only thing I can think. I was thinking about
I don't think he's right for it, but he's also... Yeah, he could do it.
Like, he also could have the look of it, too. Like,
Yeah.
I think he could kill it.
Yeah.
Even if, like, he took a different, like...
I would say the dude, which is crazy, but the dude that played Superfly in the Superfly remake could fucking do it. Trevor Jackson. This dude, like, he could fucking do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
okay.
You know, Superfly is kind of a bit of a pretty boy, but it could work.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man, it's
just Cameron. Just get Cameron. Let's get Killer Cam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harlem.
Harlem. Yeah. That's right.
Like Roundtree, you know, we talked about it a little bit, but like, I think at some point someone was trying to get him to shave the mustache for the film, and director Gordon Parks was like, "Absolutely not. You keep that fucking mustache.
You keep that fucking mustache."
That's
people like it's so weird. Like, and it's not that long ago. Like the way people associated some facial hair with like, if you had a beard, you were pretty much okay, unless it was like really unkempt and you were like a hippie.
Right.
But if you had like a mustache or like whatever, like you would never go into a job interview like that. It's so weird. Like what people base things on. Like the Yankees weren't allowed to have facial hair and like sideburns or anything like that forever, as long as George Steinbrenner was alive.
That's true. And like I know there was like that clear divergence when like Boston started having like all the guys with long hair and beards.
Like Johnny Damon was on it. That was like a big thing when Johnny Damon came to the Yankees. He had to cut all his hair.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Remember that. Holy shit. Now, I think part of the reason I think Roundtree is the definitive Shaft is I don't know if it's just like a sign of the times. Like the 2000 film, it's rated R and like, you know, there's action and stuff, but like, I don't know, like that Roundtree Shaft, it feels like the violence can get excessive, but like in that way you kind of want.
Yeah.
In a blaxploitation film, like this dude will rappel into a room.
It's kind of ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Like they try and do it in the Shaft 2000, but there's the ridiculousness is stupid.
Yes.
Like when we talked about this before privately in the car, but when like the movie's like almost trying to be serious.
Yes.
Like it's trying to be too serious,
That's
and then when Christian Bale gets off or the case gets
like,
postponed.
Yeah, he like jumps Bale.
He jumps Bale. Christian Bale jumps Bale.
Yeah.
When he does that, and Samuel Jackson's leaving the courtroom and takes off his badge and throws it like a ninja star at the judge's wall.
Absurd.
First of all, you're going to jail.
Completely going to jail.
You're for contempt at least.
At the very least.
Yeah, like judges don't. I'm like Shaft. They're not gonna fucking. No, there's no judge in the world that would do that. And just like the ninja star, like you're like, oh, that's so stupid.
It's such an absurd scene.
Like, well, now we're off.
Yeah, it does. It
We're
does
off
like
to the
kind of
races.
take you out of it.
Yeah.
Versus like the 1971 film, the entire atmosphere is being built like because the 2000s grounded in like sort of 2000s realism. This idea of like this vigilante cop thing doesn't fit the same way.
No, it doesn't.
Because like him just already starting as a private detective, already kind of outside the bounds of the law.
Yeah.
So there's no need for like the here's why he's no longer a cop. Like, he's just, I'm not a cop.
I'm not a cop.
So if he smacks a guy in the head, throws a dude out of a window, and the police are like, what happened? He's like, I don't know. He tripped. He fell. You know?
Yeah, he fell. And then they come up to, like when they come up to him on the street and they're like, hey, we gotta talk. I don't know what the dynamic is. Like, why are they seeking each other's help? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's so weird. Like, they both hate each other.
Right.
Like, it's not
him and the crime boss.
No, the cop.
Oh, the cop.
The cop.
The main cop or like the cop he's kind of friends with.
The one he's kind of friends with. But no, the main cop, the chief or whatever.
Yeah, the chief. They definitely hate each other.
They definitely hate each other. But he's also asking his help for something, and it's like such a weird thing. It's like, hey Reggie, you piece of shit, could you feed my dog next Thursday? You cocksucker.
It really is.
It's like, excuse me.
Like that. It really is like that. You know, in 1971, you got Moses Gunn, who plays Bumpy Jonas, the crime boss.
He's the crime boss.
That's some cold shit. Throwing my man Leroy out the window. Just picked my man up and threw him out the goddamn window.
I think his friend.
I bet he's not influenced by Bumpy Johnson at all.
He's absolutely
not.
Bumpy Johnson. Like it's not even loosely
it's
veiled.
Like, we're just taking him out of the 20s and putting him in the 70s.
100%. But yeah, I guess you're talking about Charles Ciaffi.
I guess.
Lieutenant Vic Andrazi.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, they're friends, right?
I guess, but it's like they hate each other, but they're like relying. I don't know. And then like every scene, it's so like the Simpsons-esque of like they're like we caused this much damage, chef. And like, hey, I'm trying to eat here. I'm trying to go get laid, baby.
That's right. Richard Ramsey's always kind of like laid back.
Yeah, he's always like,
all your friends always carry this type of weapons on them. It's like, hey man,
I don't know.
No problem, daddy.
My friends.
I love as well, and like you really don't get the same effect because I know why they had to do 2000 the way they did. Like it would be almost unreasonable. You almost have to make the movie Black Dynamite.
Yeah.
To make Shaft work the same way, like it had to be complete camp and like so referential to the blaxploitation era. So like they're trying to modernize it, but like I don't need you to modernize it. I need Shaft to be like, all right, I'm looking for two mobsters. Yo, the gay dude behind the bar, take a break, bro. I'm working the bar. Smacks the fuck out of a mob dude. Doesn't go to jail. Fucks a white chick, and then comes back around. And is like, hey, by the way, what's up with those white guys?
Yeah.
Like the side quests that he'll go on, which are all just fucking somebody.
Yeah, it's always fucking somebody.
All it is, right? It's like, man, I gotta get down to the station.
Yeah, it's like
for those dudes post bail.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the way it should be.
I agree.
That's the way it should be. But that's what's wrong with 2000. It's like, is it or isn't it?
Right.
Like, which
are we
doing the Dark Knight or are we doing Batman and Robin?
Right.
Which one are we doing?
Right. Yeah, it's like it's on the fence, and I think you're right. Like the Ninja Star thing is a nice delineation point. That's when the movie is like, okay, we want to do something different now.
Yeah.
Like that's like the what do you put it? That's they planted the flag and they're like, all right, we are now doing this vigilante thing. We did the cop shit, now we're doing vigilante, but they never really hit vigilante exactly right.
No, they don't.
You know?
Because in order to do it right, like if you're like, oh, he doesn't play by the rules, like then you go to jail.
Yeah.
Like the way like he does it in the movie, it's like, and if he doesn't, then what are you doing? Like, then I don't know.
And like honestly, most of the action for him is like kind of like trickery, you know?
Yeah, it's tomfoolery.
We got the dirty cops. Hey, that's not Shaq.
No. Banana in the tailpipe, and then he gets away. Like
or like when he like robs Christian Bale to kind of make it look like everything's like this convoluted like roundabout way. Whereas like Shaft,
we just jump in on a string with a machine gun and kill him.
Correct.
Shaft.
Correct. Like I don't care what the law is.
No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then when they're like, where did all these dead bodies come from? Like, I don't know. Daddy-o.
You're the cop. I plead the fifth, baby.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
He has to play by too many rules in 2000.
Exactly, and like because it doesn't want to be a blaxploitation movie.
Right.
Which
Yes.
okay,
They're running away from.
which they made the argument like we were watching something that was they made the argument like these were like commentaries on blaxploitation. No, they weren't. Like Boys in the Hood. I don't think it was.
No,
I disagree. I just think because it has an all black cast doesn't mean it's a blaxploitation movie.
I think like by definition, it's almost like saying film influenced the movies. Like yes, blaxploitation influenced it because it is a genre of black film that preceded it.
Yes,
but it's Do the Right Thing is not a blaxploitation film.
Absolutely not.
Quite literally the opposite. It's a black liberation film through the sense of like, yo, we are equal and like in that like it's explaining the injustice of the world and how the community may react to something like Radio Raheem was murdered.
Yes, and at the same time, like it's injustice to Radio Raheem being murdered, but it's also injustice to Sal.
Right.
Like he's like, hey, I have the right to hang up whatever pictures I want. Okay. Call me a racist. You don't get to burn down my fucking my pizza place that I've been serving you, that I've been living with you for how long? You know, it's a different. It's not like
I guess you don't need this job anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's like everything.
But like, yeah, if it was blaxploitation, Spike Lee would have like shot up the police station or something like that.
Exactly.
You know,
or like
not like.
If they would have burned down the police station instead of Sal's Pizza.
Correct.
And it would have been like, oh, it's just. But then, like, when they're swinging in, oh, there's a baby in there, and fucking Mookie would have gone through, like, the window and fucking got a baby and got out of there.
Exactly. Like, in Mookie is not a larger than life character. He's a regular dude.
Yeah, I don't agree with that it's a blaxploitation. I think maybe, like I said, maybe those blaxploitation movies, like, might have had more impact on. Like I said, I would argue that Taxi Driver is more of a blaxploitation movie than.
I would agree.
But it's like blaxploitation in the real world. I'm like, that's what that guy actually is.
Right.
Like this guy is a psychopath.
Right.
Swinging in on a rope with a machine gun, like taking down a mob.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? Like they're playing Shaft in 2000 like it's a procedural. Like
exactly.
Sort of like
that's exactly what it is. It's like a shitty Law and Order episode.
A shitty Law and Order episode.
With Christian Bale, who's doing phenomenal, by the way, in that. Like, not like this is like like I said, I saw American Psycho, but I didn't know his name.
Right.
And I saw this, and I was like, is that fucking American Psycho?
Right.
Like, I did not. So
yeah,
and he's killing it. He kills it in that movie. Like he really makes you hate him.
In 2000, Christian Bale plays Walter Wade Jr.
No 40s, no chronic, no Indo.
Aight?
That's the whitest name in the world.
Who's basically like
that's so good.
A failed son of a real estate like mogul.
Yeah.
Who just like is getting away with crimes because his daddy's rich.
Yes.
But like that is like kind of like the Law and Order sort of formula, which is like a very obvious and hateable villain who's like skirting the law throughout the episode, and they're like, "Fuck, how do we nail this guy?" The cops or whatever make mistakes along the way, and then at the end there's like some unsatisfying but resolution to what happens, and it's always like
that's all the more reason why I'm with you in this that it's not a blaxploitation. Because a blaxploitation movie, okay, let's say all this happens.
Right.
At the end, spoiler alert for everyone, Christian Bale gets off for the murder of Mekhi Phifer for like the third time.
Right.
And then the mother of Mekhi Phifer kills him on the courthouse steps.
Yep.
If this was a blaxploitation movie, it'd be like, da, 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 and then they all went out and got beers or some shit.
Exactly.
Like, they would be like, oh, no, this bitch is going to jail for the rest of her life.
Yeah, it's like a tragic ending, kind of.
Yeah, it's not a happy ending at all.
It's not. And
not only is the legal system fucked, like, yeah, Shaft did his job, but at the cost of what? Like, that girl's brother's dead.
Right.
The witness's brother's dead. Like, Shaft's hated by the entire police force.
Correct.
This woman's going to jail. Christian Bale will never see the trial. Exactly. Like, it's all of it's...
And then, like, to then follow it up...
And Mekhi Phifer's still dead.
Mekhi Phifer's dead. And then to follow all that up with this outrageous, like, the ending after the ending, which is like, some woman who's obviously like the victim of domestic violence, who's like, man, I can't go. Even though she's in a police station, it's like the cops ain't gonna do nothing. It's like, I'll hire Shaft, the man who has failed to stop Christian Bale for going on 5 years now.
Yeah, at least 5 years. And by the way, does he have other cases?
I don't know.
How does Chef make money?
This is it. Like,
what's his business plan?
Yeah. And
what's Shaft's tax return look like?
And then, like, which is ridiculous because in 1971, we know that Shaft has other jobs.
Yes.
Because people come to him for other things throughout.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I think I'll do this mob thing, but I'm over here doing this, I'm over here doing that. And, yeah, like, having someone that's not the main character kill the villain, having that still be a problem within the justice system, like, that woman's going to have to account for this.
Yes.
Versus
it's like you can't have it both ways,
right.
man. Like, either this is real or it's not.
Right. And they leaned too far in the real, so, like, they took a blaxploitation character and put him in a non-blaxploitation
which,
film.
as we said with Taxi Driver, that's what happens.
Right.
You know, like, he's
right.
not. It's not a good ending for that. It's not a good character study if that guy's a real guy. It's a sad life.
Yeah. Now, as much as I know you didn't really watch this, but that doesn't really matter. Like, without seeing it, we could have the full conversation.
Let's see. Actually, in the time that I've been sitting here, I've seen it.
Yeah.
So,
so in 2019, this idea that Shaft, like, I think weirdly enough, it's the most competent script, like in the sense that it is a actual script. Shaft in the 70s loses his son because of a crime boss, basically. Well, yeah, crime boss, let's call him that.
Crime boss.
His son grows up independently, becomes like a millennial, for lack of a better word. When he is confronted with a crime he can't solve, he turns to his father, Shaft, and Shaft is obviously still doing things the way Shaft would. But then along the way, Shaft kind of learns some things from his son, who's like really good at like, I don't know, hacking computers and shit like that. Turns out he can kind of fight. He learned capoeira, which is supposed to be a funny joke. It's like, I'm dance fighting.
Yeah, the Brazilian, right?
Yeah. And like along other things. So it's like Shaft is kind of like, he's becoming kind of less hard. Like he's like, okay, I'm open to maybe instead of a bunch of file cabinets, maybe I'll use a computer. His son is like, okay, I don't have to be such a pussy all the time. And it has a sort of satisfying ending where they go to Richard Roundtree, who's Shaft's uncle, who basically still the best Shaft in this case because they're like, boy, we need firepower to take on this organized crime. And Richard Roundtree's like, I had a bunch of guns. they take the guns, they like Bruce Lee style go up to like the top of a penthouse, have a shootout with some bad guys. Shaft's son gets a chick he's been after the whole movie. They kick some ass and they all start working together as like father, son, uncle, grandfather, whatever trio of like Shafts.
Trio Shafts.
What's interesting about that movie is kind of going back to the masculinity part. Like, it's taking the almost absurd 1970s black masculinity trope that you get from blaxploitation, regurgitating like what that means for black people today, and then showing like perhaps there's another way to like blend those two worlds into like a thing while doing a father-son.
Yeah, so you have the one island, and then you have the other island, and then Samuel L. Jackson's Shaft is the bridge.
Yeah, and even that, like, weirdly enough, like the Roundtree Shaft is probably more relatable. Like, might be closer to a bridge than the 2000 Shaft in some sense. But I think it kind of works as an exploration of black masculinity juxtaposition against like millennial culture and this like almost over the top blaxploitation era. Like it's not a great movie, but it works. It's satisfying enough. I wouldn't like go out and recommend it to people, but like it may actually overall be slightly better than the 2000 film.
Yeah.
But the 2000 film is like a sign. Like I think with all the side characters in 2000. It's worth seeing 2000
yes,
because Busta Rhymes, Lawrence Taylor, Vanessa Williams. Like, I think the cast is better, though the script is worse.
Yes, the script is worse, and then like the way it is, but everyone's doing everything competently. You know, like everyone is like, oh, Samuel Jackson has swagger. Like he has, like I do believe like he could handle this or whatever is going on. Like I believe all of it, but like Richard Roundtree, I would have thought that he's actually a fucking police detective, like, or a detective.
Yeah.
Like as soon as they shut camera, be like, okay, I'm gonna go downtown.
I think that's the key. Like Roundtree is the most believable as this character.
Yeah.
Like Samuel L. Jackson, he's he's the movie badass that we're used to, and he's doing like Samuel Jackson badassery, but he's still Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, he's Samuel Jackson. He's not anything else.
Richard Roundtree
is Shaft.
He's Shaft.
Yeah.
He's Shaft.
Yeah.
You know? And like you're saying, even the intro when they play the joke over and over again throughout all these films, but like him walking across traffic and not being concerned at all about a car hitting him. Like Richard Roundtree did it first.
Yeah.
Which means he did it best.
He did it best, and he was actually walking through traffic.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. That's it right there. What makes this blaxploitation film is because the budgets are so what they are, you're just kind of doing.
Yes, you're just doing
things in the movie.
Like doing like the Dustin Hoffman I'm walking here.
Yeah.
You know, like that's...
And it's like you're doing, at the time especially, you're doing your own stunts.
Yeah, oh absolutely.
We're going to hire a stuntman?
Yeah, if we have to hire a stuntman, we will get Samuel L. Jackson to do this. Right. You know, like we will get Sidney Poitier if we got to pay you and a stuntman.
Right.
Like so.
Exactly.
But they had you know, like also when at certain movies like that movie too, as Shaft, not only can I feel exactly how cold it is, I know exactly what the weather is just looking at him walking down the street. I'm like, oh, it's cold. Like, and then also I know exactly what that smells like. Yeah. Like when he coming out, I'm like, oh, that's grime.
You see the steam coming out.
Yep. Oh god. And then every once in a while you get a whiff of like the chestnuts. Yeah. The like chestnut dude. You're like, that smells delicious.
Yeah,
which I've never had in my life. I've smelled them a million times, and never once have I stopped to buy them.
You're right. Like, once again, New York is a character.
Oh yeah.
Even like the way Shaft gets his information. You know, he's walking around. There's the blind guy with the newspaper
guy. Yeah.
And he's like, "What do you look like? How the fuck am I supposed to know?"
No, it's the same to me, Shaft. That guy. And no, but like some of those, like that dude was clearly a newspaper guy. Yeah. Like, that's what he did for a living. It's like, hey, Billy, you want to be in a movie? I guess!
Yeah. And I kind of like how just, like, raw the movies are. Like, there's this running joke in the 1971 film, which doesn't work. But they, like, want it to work so bad. Like, when he bangs the chick.
Oh, yeah.
And she's still at the house when he comes back from, like, whatever police work he's actually supposed to be doing. And he's like, yo, bitch, could you, like, leave? Like, why are you still here? The door's still open. He's like, yo, close the door. She's like, close it yourself, shitty. Then the lieutenant mirrors that, like, a little bit after that scene. He's like, close it yourself, shitty. And then the movie ends after Shaft fucks up, I guess spoiler, after Shaft fucks up the mob nearly single-handedly.
Yes.
Saves Bumpy Johnson's daughter and stuff like that. He calls the police chief on a payphone. It's like, hey, you got a lot to clean up down here. And you have to clean it yourself, shitty. Ah! Ha, ha, ha. While credits roll. It's like, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
It does. Like,
but it shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Slice of life. There you go. Cut, print.
Boom. Perfect. That's what this movie is. It's a slice of life in this guy, Shaft. Like, we don't know anything about him other than what the song told us about him. Who's the man? He's a private detective. And he looks out for his brother, man.
Yeah, and then no one understands him but his woman, who doesn't understand.
Does not understand him because his woman.
None of them do.
You're correct, exactly, because his women don't know about his other women, and that's the way it should be.
And then, bing, bang, boom, he's gone.
Yeah,
he's out the door.
But even that's another thing that actually they do it a little bit with Vanessa Williams. Like when Shaft, there's like a guy, because he has to, like, the mob and, like, kind of like the Black Panthers get into a bit of a thing, and he has to, like, pull his friend who used to be on his side but now is, like, kind of like a Black Panther. And when the dude's being, like, disrespectful in Shaft's chick's house, and she's like, yo, bro, shut the fuck up, basically. Like, you ain't gonna talk like that in my house. And Shaft's like, yeah, dude, you better listen to her, bro, because, like, I mean, she ain't as tough as me, but she's tougher than you. Yeah. Because she's my woman. And, like, that's kind of cool that Shaft... Exactly. Would I argue that Shaft empowers women? Absolutely not.
No.
But
unless by
because
empowering women, you mean give him the opportunity to sleep with Shaft?
Yes.
That's to get dicked down by the famous John Shaft?
Yeah, exactly.
No. Then no.
Like even they're elevated because like any other woman in the movie is like there's almost no point for them being there. They're like background. Even the woman that's kidnapped, like she's just a plot device. She's not
she could be a sack of flour.
It really could have been. Hey, that's cocaine that I went back to. All right, cool.
Okay, we got cocaine, but you couldn't sympathize with a bag of cocaine,
right?
I mean,
right?
Not all of us can.
Exactly. And like, I guess I will give her that character in the '71 film is important in the context of like, since she's a square and she's not really in the life, like it is important that they save her.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
she's the innocence.
Yes.
I mean, we're not getting. There's no. I mean, you could make the argument if you really wanted to stretch it, like, it's like, Shaft is saving the only innocent left in Harlem.
Yeah.
Say he's protecting. Like, shut up. No. I mean, it's like the good shepherd type shit. No, I don't mean that. We're not.
But see, that's what's great about Shaft. Like, honestly, it's not even about that. Like, really, he's doing it for the money.
No, he's doing it for the money, and if he wasn't doing it,
kind of get the mob off his ass a little bit. You know?
Yeah, then he could kind of do whatever he wants after that.
Exactly.
He's also helping. It's also a little level of no, these Italians don't get to do this.
Exactly.
This is Harlem.
100%. Like on the cover, it's like, and again, this tagline doesn't make sense, but the mob wanted Harlem back. They got Shaft up to here. What's that mean? I don't know. But like, you could just stop. They got Shaft, or they literally
the bottom part of the
Shaft.
He Shaft is his name. Shaft's his game. What? The fuck does that mean?
Like the character is not like he's an avatar. He's not really fleshed out. You know what I mean?
Not at all. It's just okay.
But like
basically Superman.
But you're right. It's like Harlem. This is black shit. Like you guys can do all the organized crime you want. Stay out of Harlem.
Yeah.
Basically, and even again, not to give this movie more than it's giving us. His like interaction with like the kind of like Black Panther, like militant black people, they disagree with him because he's not in their fight.
Yeah.
Because he's doing his own thing. But he also like does help them out. He's like, actually, I'm gonna hire you guys to help me take on the mob. So I'm gonna get you a bunch of money so that you can continue your movement. So yeah, don't say I never fucking did anything for you.
Yeah.
You piece of shit.
You pieces of shit.
It's like, first of all, you're all corny and your thing's not gonna work. But I'd rather you run in the streets than white mobsters. So here's some money. Leave me alone.
That's true.
That's Shaft for you. It's
That's
like
Shaft.
Give me money.
For his brother, man.
Leave me alone. He does look out for his brother, even when he doesn't look like it.
Yeah, but it's even if it's just maybe if you'll just leave me alone.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing, and I think that like in this sort of Robin Hood-esque, because that's sort of what he is, character.
Yeah.
He's not really giving much support except protection, really.
And that dick.
And the D, yes. He's slinging that shit all around town.
Yeah.
And that, we were talking about blaxploitation a bit. We really didn't get into this. The fact that he bangs a white chick is so important.
That is.
It's very important. He needs to bang a white chick because,
And actual.
Yes. Yeah, because, like, banging black chicks is cool, too.
Yeah.
But, like, that, taking the race element, flipping on his head, and just, like, again, like, the white cops or even the white mobs are like, hey, you leave me be. And he's like, shut the fuck up. I'm fucking your bitch.
Yeah.
It could be a little controversial, but
especially
I think
if, like right before that, like just watch Birth of a Nation first, and then watch that, and then you'll be like,
it's a response.
Yes,
it's a response
and a good one.
I agree. Like, yeah,
wow, fuck your bitch, you fat motherfucker.
Like Samuel L. Jackson, I know he bangs, but like there's not the same.
It's not the same problem. Like Samuel Jackson's been married for 30 years.
Yeah.
Like it's not this. Like I don't know anything about Richard Roundtree. Like he probably was slinging dick like that.
Probably. But even like oh my god, he was Shaft.
Yeah, he's Shaft.
I mean, come on.
Shaft.
But even like 2019, there's actually more elements of Shaft, kind of like getting around town, banging other chicks and stuff like that. Like that's there's like elements of that because with the Vanessa Williams character, I don't know. Again, that like we're not committing to blaxploitation. He's kind of committed to her.
Yeah.
Even though he will fuck around in 2019 because Regina Hall has already kind of like she's no longer with him. There's no morality to him sleeping around.
Yeah.
And, like it's a plot element that you can play off his son and his like seeking monogamy in the film. It's like I don't know. It works better. Like again, 71. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't care how you kick the man's ass, but just
stick it to the man. Yeah.
Boy does it.
And boy does it. Ah, it was great.
Like the assault on the mob base is great.
Oh, it's amazing.
So good.
I can watch that every day.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's like, but not only funny, but it's like, yeah, I'm with them.
Yeah.
Like it's like, this is everything I want it to be. It's almost like a cartoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Going back to that Dexter's Lab thing, it
Yeah.
is like a cartoon, a superhero, whatever you want to say. Like it's revolutionary in the sense that it's pushing back on the norm.
Yeah.
And like I said, we can always talk about the controversial aspects of blaxploitation, but like I think that freedom to have a black guy be the hero, even if his background isn't heroic.
He's not heroic, and he's like flawed, but he's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, and that's even better.
That's the best part about
better.
it. That's the best part about it.
Yeah, that I don't give a fuck that I'm like, am I flawed? I'm awesome.
Because I think what undermines Samuel Jackson's character is like when he's flawed or when he makes mistakes, there's consequences. When Shaft makes mistakes, there are no mistakes.
There are none.
No. He can't make a mistake.
He didn't make it. No, he delivers 10 out of 10.
Honestly, the only mistake he made was kind of taking on the job that he had to take anyway. Like he wouldn't have got shot if he wasn't trying to keep that chick from dying.
Yeah.
Like if it was a sack of flour, he would never got shot.
No.
He would like bang 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 bang. Here's a sack of flour. But because I gotta safely get her out of the building.
Yes.
It compromised the character because on his own, Shaft does not have these problems.
No.
It's the minute that you introduce other characters that he has to work with.
Yeah.
It complicates shit for him.
That's right.
Yeah. But who's the man? It's
who delivers 10 out of 10.
Shaft. You damn right.
Damn right. All right. Well, look, we have to go.
No, I think we.
Do you think that they should have remade it?
I think as a send up, a callback, and an exploration of blaxploitation, I think in combination, 2000 2019 in combination, I think actually adequately, do Shaft, especially because Richard Roundtree reprised his role, I think, in both films. So it's like, yes, because it's a love letter to blaxploitation, a flawed love letter. Samuel Jackson, I think, reasonably is one of the few people that could have played John Shaft, and like the fact that we get to see him do that, and Christian Bale's racist character kind of, again, flawed, gets his comeuppings. The fact that we get to see Lawrence Taylor in the movie, the fact that
I'm always for that.
Exactly.
Always for that.
I think Busta Rhymes brought a lot to the table.
I thought he's great.
I thought Mekhi Phifer was fucking great.
I thought Mekhi Phifer was great, but he's like, was it just me, or do you think like you're too big to be in this small of a role?
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
I'm like, yo, Mekhi Phifer does this and then just gets his head beaten, and then he's dead.
You would almost think that you would flip it, like Busta Rhymes would.
That
and
exactly,
then Mekhi Phifer.
exactly.
But
he must have just killed that audition.
He must.
That's what he must have walked in and be like, and he probably did.
He probably
because he kills it in the movie.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, like, weirdly, Busta Rhymes is a grounding figure in the film.
He is, because he knows how good Shaft is, but he hates him.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, God damn it.
It's like, it's right on the line. The movie isn't very good.
No.
But the cast is.
Everyone's good. Everyone's
So-
really is good.
It's worth existing, but, like, it's not one of those movies I want to
Especially
watch.
Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright.
Playing a Spanish dude. Joe People.
Joe People.
Which, but he kind of does it. He's a little more of like the blaxploitation. Like,
Yeah.
I think he gets it.
I think he definitely gets it. Like, he is.
Like when he's stabbing himself and shit. Like,
yeah, I think he is the type of character that the movie should have been about. Like, I get you need a white guy to be hateable and to play against, but like, if it was Shaft versus Peoples Hernandez, that would have been a much more interesting.
Yeah, but you
film.
couldn't do it. You have to have Whitey be the.
Yeah, Whitey has to be.
He has to be
the problem. Even though Whitey weirdly isn't the problem in 2019, but he is in the sense of like his boss, the FBI boss, is kind of like getting in his way with all the red tape and shit like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I would say, again, I think the only way I can actually do this is in tandem, both of those films as a send-up and a callback to Shaft. I think in tandem are worth existing, but separately, both of those films are like super flawed on their own. I don't think are worth the remake, but I think Samuel Jackson as Shaft is worth.
I think he's a good. I think he'd be a good like Shaft.
Yeah,
but I think I don't think the other two should be made. I don't even think the one I can say because I can't speak on 2019 or whatever it was. But I just don't think. Like honestly, just make another sequel if you're gonna do that. Like I could just watch the exploits of Shaft forever.
True. I think
though I've never seen Shaft Goes to Africa.
No, me neither.
I've never seen it. Now I'm going to though.
I think that part of what makes 2019 kind of work is that we actually get to see Richard Roundtree just be Shaft again.
Yeah,
and he's old as shit, but like I'm still.
But he had, which we didn't discuss, that Richard Roundtree in 2000 had cancer.
Yeah,
and I was very upset because they said like the prognosis wasn't good, but here we are in 2023. Yeah. He's still with us.
Still with us.
God bless him.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I kind of revised my answer. You're right.
Yeah,
like, there's no reason for 2019 to exist.
That should be like a time capsule.
Shaft was
like there's
what
no.
It was.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if like you need to remake that. Like it's just it's like remaking Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah,
it's like that's that time.
Yeah,
that's what that is. Like that.
Because the more I'm thinking about it, you've completely swung me. Like they're not even Shaft movies.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with Shaft.
It's
like it could be. It might as well have been like.
Yeah.
Like Snakes on a Plane. Like it's not.
Yeah.
Snakes on a Plane is closer to fucking Shaft.
You're right. It is.
It's closer.
It is. It like tonally sitting in that absurdity.
Yes.
Makes it closer to Shaft.
It is.
Than this movie that's trying to explain a real Shaft.
Yeah.
Shaft's not real.
He's not real, and it's absurd to think like that he would be.
We actually like you wouldn't really want Shaft running around
you would not.
Your streets.
Absolutely not.
Like it's fun to watch as a again similar to like Iron Man. I don't want Iron Man to exist in the sense of like he's gonna blow up my house.
Yes.
And there's no insurance for when the Avengers fuck up. Like, could you imagine like, yo, Dan, you want to go watch Big 3 basketball in New York? And shit. There's Ultron. Damn. Similar with Shaft. It's like, hey, you want to go to like some local pizzeria? Oh shit.
Yeah. I got shot in the arm. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. These movies shouldn't exist unless it's Shaft and potentially Shaft goes.
Like and it's the same. It's like the same problem with like Superman. Like you have the same. Like you can read like a Superman comic, but like by today's standards, like you can't. You have to take it for what it was then. You can't take it for what it is now because if you did it through today's lenses, like none of the Supermans, the new modern Supermans, have really worked because it's like, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna beat him? It's impossible. I know. What's even the point?
I know it like doesn't. It really doesn't work.
Yeah.
At all. But good effort. I think part of the reason I was struggling with it is like I just like the people that are in the movie.
Yes, I do. Like I think everyone does a good job.
It's like it's messing with it's flavoring my opinion of the movie. But like, yeah, you're right. Like these kind of stink.
Yeah,
they all kind of fucking stink.
They kind of stink. And don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean I won't watch Shaft 2000. I will 100% watch it like over and over. But yeah, that's so stupid. That's
motherfucker. I know you didn't say it like that, but like that's the way I hear it.
When I saw that in the movie theater, you could audibly hear me gasp.
I would have. I groaned too. Like I saw it and I was like, "Are you serious?
Are you serious?" Like throwing it like a ninja star.
Like I was watching it on like a tablet while Pri was doing something on TV, and like I looked over to Pri and I was like, he just threw a police badge like it was a ninja star, and it almost hit the judge in the head, and they just want me to accept that.
Yeah, and this guy's gonna solve racism? Get out of here.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, buddy. Anyway.
So what are we doing next, man?
So this was my idea. If it's cool with you and cool with the audience, we got September coming up.
Okay.
So I know it's not it's kind of like it's not a summer movie. It's not anything like that. So I was thinking if we do a retro versus remake of Steve September. Steve McQueen.
All right.
All Steve McQueen movies. And we go through September. We'll do like 4 of them or whatever. So we could start off with one of the best remakes that people don't realize is The Great Escape and Chicken Run.
Wow. I love Chicken Run.
I love The Great Escape.
Well, here we go.
Here we go. Let's go.
Let our powers combine.
By the power of Grayskull.
Yeah.
So
I'm down. Steve September.
Steve September.
This is a brilliant plan.
Yeah, there's others. And then we might be revisiting some other things.
Okay.
So you know what I mean?
I'm down, bro.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Steve
Summer
September.
Steve.
The September of Steve. The Summer of Steve.
Awesome, man.
That's great. And then, so yeah, please like, subscribe.
Yeah, check us out. We're Retro vs. Remake. You can catch us on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, all that stuff.
It's everywhere, baby.
Yep.
I'm everywhere. We're like herpes.
I'm Reggie Parker. Shut your mouth. You can find me at RP Comedy on Twitter. X, Instagram, and Threads.
And Threads. And I'm Dan Farley. One bad mother. Shut your mouth. You can find me at Dan Farley 18 on Instagram or Jersey Dan 18 on X. Exhibit. And then that's it. Please like, subscribe. Thank you. See you guys next time.
Hey.
God bless. Retroverse Remake.
Hey.
Oh.